What time is it? Oh, that's right. 10 a.m. on Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025, because I'm going live every single day on my YouTube channel. And I am going to talk about how to make an extra $10,000 per month as a bookkeeper without client bookkeeping. So, this is a topic I've never talked about before. And if you can see me, if you can hear me, let me know. It looks like I might be having some technical difficulties. Let me know in the chat if you're watching live, if you can see my video right now. This is something I've never talked about before on my YouTube channel, how to make an extra $10,000 per month. And I'm not talking about getting more clients or doing more bookkeeping. So I'm going to talk about some additional things that you could do. Maybe even think about this like a side hustle. I'm going to talk about some other things that you can do to try to grow your revenue, not just your bookkeeping business, but some skills that you could probably translate that you've learned as a bookkeeper, and you could probably translate that into making some extra money. So I haven't seen anybody say anything in the chat. Please let me know. Okay, you can see me, you can hear me. That's great. Thanks, Chelsea. I appreciate it. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to give you a live look into my QuickBooks. So if you are listening to the podcast on Apple or Spotify, you obviously can't see anything. So I would encourage you, if you want to see my video, if you want to see my live stream, go to my YouTube channel. It's the exact same name, Bookkeeping Expert Zach Pasquarello. If you're watching a replay and you want to watch live, then just join us every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, so let's talk about it. So this video is not really for people who are just getting started. So let me talk about what I mean. So let me go to my QuickBooks here. I think I have it up right now. Okay, here is my QuickBooks account, Harrisburg Bookkeeping. So I started my bookkeeping business 5 years ago in the fall of 2020. And you can see here, I basically did nothing except for get started. So I made $400 in 2020. I spent $1,400. And so, I lost $1,000 basically getting my business started. Let's fast forward to the first year. So let's update this and let's see what happened in the first year. So let's go to 2021. This is the first full year of running my bookkeeping business. So I made $98,000 just from bookkeeping in the first year. And then I started doing something a little bit different. So it was at this point, probably towards the end of the year, I started making YouTube videos and I started teaching truckers how to do their own QuickBooks, how to do their own bookkeeping. So you can see here, trucking course. I sold a course for $59 all the way back in 2021. So this was my very first glimpse at making some extra side hustle money as an entrepreneur. So this was related to bookkeeping, but at the same time, it was unrelated to actually doing bookkeeping. So I was teaching other truckers basically DIY how to do their own bookkeeping through QuickBooks. And so I sold a course and I sold all of my courses by making YouTube videos. So I started this back in 2021, 4 years ago, started making videos back in 2021. So not $10,000 per month yet, but I'm going to paint the whole picture for you. So I'm going to show you how I got started. So I got started majority bookkeeping. So that's why I said, if you're brand new, this video probably isn't for you, but it might give you something to think about in the future. If you've been bookkeeping for a year, this video is absolutely for you. Maybe start thinking about what else can you do just to maybe earn a little bit of side income, like a side hustle, but also probably more important than the actual money that you get is the lessons that you're going to learn and the experience that you're going to get, and possibly the new businesses you're going to learn about and the new companies you might want to get into. So, education, trucking course, 2021, $1,000, my very first time. Now, let's fast forward to 2022 and let's see what happened my second full year running my bookkeeping business as an entrepreneur, my second full year. Here you can see things took off a little bit. So here I made $4,000 in 2022 selling my trucking course. And then YouTube, I started making some ad revenue, $5,000 in 2022 just from making YouTube videos. So if you really like marketing, if you really like coaching, consulting, teaching, educating, if you like the idea of doing what I'm doing right now, who knows? I mean, look at that. And then also consultations. So I sold all of this through my YouTube content. So I taught truckers how to do their books, how to start their businesses. So this was the very first time that I ever actually took my skills and my lessons learned as an entrepreneur and made some extra income by teaching other people how to do what I've done. So I know what you're thinking. Geez, you're trying to tell me to sell a course and start a YouTube channel. Honestly, I'm not really doing that. I could not care less what you do with your free time. I'm just simply sharing what I've done in the past. So this is a long time ago. This was 3 years ago, back in 2022. I'm just sharing maybe some ideas. Maybe you could follow in my footsteps if you want, or maybe you could take my ideas and tailor them to fit your interests and your skills. So this is just what I did. So I made a YouTube channel 5 years ago, 4 years ago. I made 5,000 bucks in 2022. I'm not getting rich from my YouTube ad revenue, but an extra 5,000 bucks, that's a really nice vacation. That's Christmas gifts for your entire family and then some. That's decent money. And then almost $5,000 just by selling the trucking course. And then this was so simple. My consultations, I just simply had a link to my calendar where people could sign up, pay me $100 for an hour, and I would just answer their questions. They would meet with me one on one. They found me on YouTube. They probably had questions on how to start their trucking company, how to manage the bookkeeping and the QuickBooks for their trucking company. And I just simply had a link in the description of my YouTube videos. I promoted my one-on-one consultations and I made an extra 7,000 bucks. So five, that's 10, let's just say about $17,000 in 2022 from stuff other than bookkeeping. So you can see here, bookkeeping, $110,000 in 2022. That's amazing. Really, really great. And then an extra $17,000 just from other stuff, from one-on-one consultations, YouTube ad revenue, and selling my trucking course. Now, things get interesting when we move on to 2023. Let's take a look. So things kind of exploded in 2023. My business tripled. I made $344,000 in 2023. The majority of that, once again, bookkeeping, $280,000 from bookkeeping. And then I started selling not just my trucking course, but then I started a bookkeeping course. So I started by teaching truckers how to do their own bookkeeping. And then I started teaching people how to start a bookkeeping business. So keep in mind, 2021, 2022, I had about 2.5 full years of starting and growing my own bookkeeping business before I started teaching other people. So I'm not recommending that you start a bookkeeping business and then 3 months later you start a YouTube channel and you teach people how to start a bookkeeping business. That's not what I'm saying. If you look at my numbers, you see I made $100,000 my first year, 98,000 my first year, 110 my second year, and then my third year, 280,000. So I really focused on bookkeeping. So let me just be clear. Number one focus, number one priority in the first few years of my entrepreneurship was strictly bookkeeping. That was the majority of my income, 282,000 out of 344,000. I don't know what percentage that is. That's probably 80% of my total income came from actually bookkeeping. So all this extra stuff, just a side hustle, but it's still interesting. It's still fun to think about. I sold a bookkeeping course and then consultations. I continued to do the one-on-one consultations now, not only with truckers, but also with aspiring bookkeepers. So I was just selling my time and also selling some digital downloads. So I had my course and then I also had some digital downloads like my client agreement, my social media marketing strategy guide, some other things. So that's about 40,000. Add in the YouTube, that's about $45,000 in 2023 that I made from this business that I refer to as education. So got the bookkeeping company and then got the education portion of my business, and that was YouTube, consultations, digital downloads, selling a course, teaching other people what I knew and what I was doing. This was after 3 years of starting my own thing. Education, $45,000. Pretty good. $45,000 in 2023. And then here comes interest income. What is this? $14,000 in 2023. This is crazy. Going back a little bit in time. So as you can see in the bottom of this video here, I have Zip Capital. I have my investment fund, which is all about real estate lending, all about interest. But this got started way back then, 3 years ago in 2023. I made $14,000 by doing real estate lending. I was able to save up my own cash through my bookkeeping company because, as you can see, I made $300,000 in 2023. So I saved up some of that cash, and then I was able to lend that money to my bookkeeping clients who were real estate investors. And I had a mortgage on a property, real estate promissory note, personal guarantee. This is when I started private money lending, real estate lending for real estate investors for fix and flips. This was another kind of side hustle. More of an so the education. I played a very active role in the education portion of my business. Very active, making the YouTube videos, selling the courses, doing the consultations, the interest income. I played an active role in the sense that I had to do advertising and marketing to get the borrowers, and also I had to do the underwriting to make sure that my loan was secured and safe. So I did have to play an active role, but it was definitely less time. I spent less time to make the $14,000 interest income than I did for the $18,000 of consultation income. So the 14,000 was more of an investment, less of an active role, still active but less active than the bookkeeping and the education portion of my business. So 344,000 in 2023, 20% of that came from these other side hustles, the YouTube ad revenue, the private money lending, the bookkeeping course, the one-on-one consultations, the digital downloads. Now, things get even more interesting. Let's go to 2024. Let's see what happened in 2024. $785,000 of annual income in 2024. 542 came from bookkeeping. So bookkeeping still growing like crazy. 2024 was my biggest month. I had 88 clients at the peak of 2024. Absolute insanity, super busy, a lot of time bookkeeping. And then also $54,000 for my bookkeeping course, $54,000 for my consultation, $18,000 for my YouTube. So once again, education, consulting, coaching, teaching, selling a course, selling digital downloads, making YouTube videos. This was all really just a passion project. I really enjoy doing this stuff. Obviously, I'm going live every day. I love making these videos. I love coaching people. I love helping people. And it's great to earn some extra money doing it. So I made $120,000 in 2024 through the education portion of my business. And for a lot of people, that is a full-time job. That is a ton of money. So I am definitely not downplaying that amount of money. That is amazing. God definitely blessed me and my abilities and my business and my family. Like, God has been really, really good over the past few years and all the time. But if you want, learn some skills, start a bookkeeping business, spend 3 or 4 years growing your bookkeeping business, and then hopefully these ideas can help inspire you, motivate you, maybe show you what's possible. So the bookkeeping is an amazing source of income. And then the education portion of my business, just teaching people, helping people, and then getting paid to do it. And then we have here loan consulting and interest income. Interest income, 89,000, loan consulting, $26,000. This is all about real estate private money lending. I took all of the skills that I learned as a bookkeeper, as an entrepreneur, and I started real estate private money lending. In 2024, it really picked up very quickly. So I made just about as much money in 2024 real estate private money lending as I did in my education portion of my business. So I made a lot of money, and I was just real estate lending. I was just lending money to real estate investors, primarily through my bookkeeping business. But also, here's the cool thing. With your bookkeeping business, you're going to spend, so when you're looking at your resources, your money, your house, your clothes, your family, your friends, all of that can be taken away from you. Unfortunately, people die. I know it's sad. People die. People get divorced. Friends move away. Relationships break up. You can lose all your money. Houses burn down. Countries collapse. Like, all of that stuff can absolutely be taken away from you. But there's one thing that's really cool that cannot be taken away from you. Even if you get exiled from your country, even if you get thrown in jail, even if you lose everything, even if all of the people you love, know, and care about leave and are no longer with you, even if you're alone, deserted on an island, there's one thing that cannot be taken away from you, and that is your education and your skills. Now, caveat, of course, if you have brain damage, yes. If your brain and your mind are damaged, then yes, I guess these can be taken away from you. But any other circumstance, barring a traumatic brain injury, your skills and your education cannot be taken away from you. So that's why I recommend start a bookkeeping business now. No matter what is going to happen in the future, we can't predict what's going to happen in the future. But what I can predict is that the skills that you acquire starting and growing your bookkeeping business can absolutely evolve into something incredible. Just look at me, for example, 2024, $785,000. And about, once again, about 20% of that came from education and real estate lending. So those are the two things I decided to focus on. Just as an example, I'm not here to tell you that you have to start education and coaching and real estate private money lending. I'm just here to show you that once you start your bookkeeping business, it might open up some other doors, some other avenues to possibly make some additional income. Who doesn't want an extra $200,000? Now, last thing, and then I'll get to the questions. So if you're watching live, feel free to ask questions, and it can be about anything. It doesn't have to be about what I've been talking about. You can ask questions about anything. Now, let's look at 2025. So far through the first 11 months, we're at $932,000 of income, and we're at 581,000 of bookkeeping. So bookkeeping stayed about the same, 2024 to 2025. Bookkeeping stayed about the same. Bookkeeping course, consultations, that was pretty similar, but here, interest income, loan consulting, almost $200,000. So this has been the seismic shift. This is where I'm going. This is the direction I'm moving. And this is kind of what the video is all about. So you start your bookkeeping business, you fall in love with bookkeeping, you love entrepreneurs, you love real estate, you love trucking, you love restaurants, whatever it might be. And then you discover, this restaurant is really interesting. Maybe I could start my own food truck. This trucking company is really interesting. Maybe I could start my own trucking company. This real estate is really interesting. Maybe I could start lending to these real estate investors. All of a sudden, as a bookkeeper, you get this insider look into all these companies, all these businesses. You start learning all these things about entrepreneurship and finances and accounting, and taxes and business. You start learning how things work. You start meeting new people, networking. You're going to meet so many people. Marketing. You're going to do so much marketing over the next 5 years. Like I said, you might lose your family and friends and your money and your house, but you're not going to lose the skills that you've learned, the marketing that you've done, the social media presence that you've built up. Now, you can absolutely lose your reputation. So guard your reputation. It's one of the most precious things you have. Time and your reputation are things that you cannot get back. Once you lose your time, you can't get more time. Once you destroy your reputation, it is nearly impossible to build up your reputation. So don't destroy your reputation. Don't waste your time. But as long as you do the right thing and network with people and do marketing to grow your bookkeeping business, who knows? Maybe you can leverage all that marketing, all that social media, all that networking, all those relationships. Maybe you can leverage those to build another business. And that's a perfect segue. That's exactly what I'm doing right now with Zip Capital. I'm leveraging 5 years of marketing to real estate investors. And now instead of selling them bookkeeping services, I'm just selling them lending services. So I'm lending to real estate investors, the exact same people who I was trying to get as bookkeeping clients. Now I'm just lending to them on their real estate acquisitions. And then I'm taking all the skills that I've learned in finance and bookkeeping and marketing and sales. I'm taking all those skills and now I'm raising capital from investors. Today, big news, I'm getting a $600,000 investor into Zip Capital for the first time today. So I'm very close to $3 million of other people's money invested into Zip Capital. And so that's kind of the whole reason. That's what I'm doing right now. That's what I'm focused on. I'm growing Zip Capital. I'm managing Harrisburg Bookkeeping. The education course, like I'm not really pushing my bookkeeping course. I don't really talk about it anymore. I don't offer consultations anymore. YouTube is YouTube, $20,000 in the grand scheme of things, not super a lot. So I'm not really pushing the education portion of my business. I'm not taking on new bookkeeping clients. I'm going all in on Zip Capital real estate lending. So I'm going to get to the questions now. I'm going to get to the chat. Hopefully some people are watching. Let's see how many people are watching. Oh, we've got more than 50 people watching live right now. That's amazing. So real quick, If you are an accredited investor and you want to earn 8%, potentially up to 12% fixed returns, then let's chat about you investing in Zip Capital. The minimum is $25,000, but if you have $25,000 and you're an accredited investor, you can invest in Zip Capital. There's a link down below in the description of this video, in the description of this podcast. There's a link where you can register on my website and we can talk on the phone. Yesterday, somebody registered on my website during the live video. What did I do? I called them right after the meeting, right after the live video. I called them right away. So if you register on my website, if you're serious about investing, I will give you a call and we can chat about it. All right, let's get to the chat. I'm gonna be here for like 5 more minutes. So if you got questions, ask them now, please. Zach, good morning, sir. Guess what? My social media strategy has just resulted in a booked meeting at my office with a local client today. This is all because of you. Thank you. Guess what? Guess what, Bookkeeping Conroe? It's not because of me. It's because of you. It's because that you showed up consistently. You put in the time and the effort and the energy to do social media marketing. It's not because of me. I inspired you. I motivated you, but you are the one who had the discipline to show up every day. So Bookkeeping Conroe, I'm proud of you. Keep working hard. Alec Romero, good morning, Zach. What are the main categories you use for expenses? I remember you mentioning it, but I can't find the note I made or the video. Alec, I guess it all depends on what type of business. What type of business? So maybe, Alec, maybe send me an email and I'll see if I can answer your question in an email. That might be the best use of our time. So, Alec, let me know what type of business you're referring to, and then I'll try to answer your question. Ryan, you said in an earlier video that you want to wind down the bookkeeping business. Why not 1099 the work and keep the difference for low investment? Or why not sell the business? Because that, to me, that's just a distraction. So for me, I'm trying to grow Zip Capital to the point where I'm making $5 million per year. So so here's the thing. So if you want to have a couple companies that both make $500,000 a year, I think that's totally possible. Here's my logic. Here's my thought process. I don't want anything to take away from Zip Capital. So I could absolutely hire a couple employees, manage Harrisburg Bookkeeping, maybe make $200,000 per year. And I don't want to sound out of touch with reality because that's amazing. 200 grand is amazing, but the direction that I want to take Zip Capital is just I'm just going all in on Zip Capital because the potential and the possibility that I see is limitless if I focus all my attention on Zip. Could I make Harrisburg Bookkeeping into a $10 million company? Absolutely. Could I make Zip Capital into a $10 million company? Absolutely. Could I make both into a $5 million company? Maybe, but I think that would be really, really hard to do both at the same time. So instead, I'm going all in on Zip Capital. And once I hit my goals in Zip Capital, then the couple $100,000 from Harrisburg Bookkeeping will be insignificant compared to where I plan on taking Zip Capital. So I hope that's a good enough answer. That's I don't know. Let me know what you think about that answer. That's kind of my logic. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So I don't know. You can maybe call me crazy or maybe let me know what you think. But yeah. Okay. Amanda Rose Kelly, how long did it take for the imposter syndrome to go away and you finally felt very confident with new clients? Never. It never goes away. Especially as an entrepreneur, it never goes away. There's always going to be somebody, especially social media, marketing, sales. There's always going to be somebody who thinks they are smarter than you, who thinks they know more than you. If you put yourself out there and if you're open and honest, there's always going to be people who want to put you down and who try to tell you that you're wrong and who try to say what you're doing isn't right. It always it happens to me right now, and it's really, really hard. So hard to have the courage and the confidence to continue going every day. Incredibly hard, incredibly hard. But I guess the confidence just has to come from within. So you have to know that you are doing your best. That's all that matters. You are not the best bookkeeper. I'm not the best bookkeeper, but I am the best version of myself that I can possibly be. And as long as you're doing that, I think you're going to have the courage and the confidence to continue going every day. As long as you can look at yourself in the mirror at the end of the day and say, you know what? I did my best today. I was honest, I had integrity, and I genuinely am trying to help these business owners. That's all you can do. And if you can do that every day, I think you will very quickly get over imposter syndrome. So genuinely try to do your best. Genuinely try to learn more every day, trying to improve your skills every day, and I think you'll get over imposter syndrome very quickly. But also, it really never goes away. There's because as you climb the mountain, there's going to be a bigger peak at the next mountain. So as you continue to climb, there's going to be new challenges. It's going to get harder as you climb up the mountain. There's going to be new players in the game. There's going to be new competition. There's going to be new people who are trying to tear you down. And so imposter syndrome, it never goes away. It just changes and it evolves, unfortunately. And it just your confidence and courage and your discipline and your integrity has to come from within. You have view only access to many of your clients' bank accounts. How do you manage all of the usernames and passwords? I have Google Password Manager. Pretty simple. I use, what is this called? Google Chrome. Yeah, I use Google Chrome as my web browser, and I use Google Password Manager to save all the passwords. I failed the Intuit basic bookkeeping course, even though I feel the test and curriculum were not aligned. How do I prepare for next time? I'm a bit discouraged. So what I did, I'm not sure if you can still do this, but what I did is I opened up two screens. So I have two screens. So I opened up two windows, incognito and a regular window. I opened up QuickBooks in one window and then an incognito window in the other window. And then I was able to look at the test material at the same time while I was taking the test. So I could kind of go through the study guide and the information and simultaneously go through the test. And that helped a lot. So hopefully that helps. Hi, Zach. Thank you for your videos and sharing your knowledge. I am a bookkeeping student looking to start marketing. What are the best entry-level niches you would recommend? Honestly, I would say don't pick a niche. Just talk about regular bookkeeping and try to get 5 to 10 clients first. Focus, your niche should be bookkeeping and QuickBooks Online and your local area. That's your niche. So just advertise to those people, talk to those people, promote your bookkeeping services. We're not doing taxes. Don't even mess around with accounts payable, accounts receivable, no sales tax, no payroll, no forecasting, no budgeting, just bookkeeping and just QuickBooks Online. That's your niche. I wouldn't necessarily pick an industry specific, but I would pick a software and a service as a niche. Paul, do you take vacation? I already have a full-time job. Yes, I take vacation, but I'm kind of weird. So for the past 5 years, I've never really enjoyed traveling. So for the past 5 years, I've gone on a couple vacations and I have young kids. Traveling is hard enough with young kids. So yes, we have gone on small trips locally to like a beach, like 4 or 5 hours away, or maybe to a lake house 4 or 5 hours away. But I will always bring my laptop and I will work for 2 or 3 hours every day while on vacation. And I only go on one vacation once per year, maybe 3 or 4 days per year. I'm not saying you have to do that. I'm just saying that's what I've done for the past 5 years. I'm not even saying that's what I'm going to continue doing for the next 5 years. Who knows? Maybe I have an epiphany and maybe I decide to go on 5 vacations every year. And I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but that's just what I've done over the past 5 years, mostly because I don't like traveling. I really like my routine. I'm a big routine guy. I wake up at 5 a.m. every day. I go to the gym at 12 every day. I drink 3 cups of coffee every day. I don't know. I'm a big routine kind of guy. I wear the same clothes every day. I don't like a lot of change. Maybe that's because I'm a little bit crazy, probably. I don't know. Okay, that's it for today. Been doing this for 30 minutes. If you like this video, join me next time. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm going live at 10 a.m. Let me know in the comments what you think. I appreciate it. If you want to join Zip Capital, invest in Zip Capital, there's a link down below. Register on my website. Thank you so much. God bless you. Have a great day.